Hey, you should watch Peacemaker. You're my never-ending but sometimes on hiatus quest to make your hard life a little better through entertainment. Thought I'd just give you a little recommendation. I'd like to do this on camera. Mine's kind of stinky. I don't like my face. So anyway, if you're a modern superhero media fan, especially like the stupid kind of side of the whole comics thing, you should watch Peacemaker. It's an HBO Max series that takes place in whatever cinematic universe, I guess, the Suicide Squad was in. I haven't seen that. But, you should be warned that the show does spoil that in its first few minutes with like a last time on Suicide Squad, just to give context as to who the hell Peacemaker is, what he's recently done, which is be a murderous loser man who thinks that what he does for the greater good, like, oh, I'm gonna save the world no matter how many men, women, and child I have to kill. And that's mostly what the show's about. Him coming to grips with not wanting to do that so much anymore. Now, I've never seen the Suicide Squad. I don't care about it at all. And at never any point I felt like I was missing anything in Peacemaker by not having seen it. So I never even knew Peacemaker existed in anything at all before watching the show, and you don't need to, so don't worry about that. On being a murder type loser, Peacemaker, the show that is, not the character, deals with identity crises relating to morality conflicts and introspections, I would say. You know, like what's right for what I thought was right doesn't feel right anymore, that kind of thing. I don't mean to imply it's some kind of high art, but I assure you it's a stupid show about a stupid man, and it knows it and has fun with it, but it also does have good theme representation, good introspections for the character and the other characters in the show. It's a James Gunn ran show, or at least that's what it advertises and is on all the press stuff. I won't claim to be sure of his heavy involvement or his seal of quality, but that's a big name you might like. If you like James Gunn things, you might like this show. Was Super James Gunn? Super ruled. You should watch Super also. You can tell based on the intro to every episode, which I'm not showing because I don't know how YouTube's copyright works, that Peacemaker's writers are well aware that the subject matter, like superheroes, Peacemaker, it's goofy. And that's not to say there's none of the classic superhero TV show drama. There absolutely is, but it's not as schlocky as something like a CW show, for example. It's fine. Something you would expect from a superhero fare, but I wouldn't say it ever brings the show down or makes you think any less of the characters. It's reasonable, which I'm sort of not used to after years of watching CW shows like The Flash and Arrow. Peacemaker's drama feels like it was actually written by people with brains in their heads. Never mind. The humor, however, I do like it, but it might not be for everyone. I thought I'd dislike it at first starting the show because it's very modern, but it's at least mature. I don't know if that's the right word. It has swearing and people being mean to each other is basically what I'm saying. It's not all just Reddit jokes. They are in there too, though. There's some of those, and they're fine. They don't hurt. They're just predictable. And that annoys me a bit. That's not a good sell. Look, it endeared itself to me. For example, there's a strange, quirky take on a classic DC character who I'd only ever seen be super serious, Murder Man in. I've seen him in Justice League Unlimited and Arrow, and at first I wasn't hot on this new take, this James Gunn style man, but the character actually ended up becoming my favorite, and so I guess I'd say modern isn't a bad thing here. The show's carried by its writing, its acting, and less so its action. I always wanted to know what was happening next, or what would happen next, rather. It was never like, I have to stop watching this because these characters are too quirky. I can't actually recall any moments of bad acting at all, which is pretty high praise, all things considered. Modern quirk humor, it's there, but it doesn't get in the way of anything, and the actors absolutely do well with it. It never hurts to listen to, is what I'm saying. Good sell me. Speaking of modern, there's a little bit of diverse social representation right away. I'm talking cold open and black gay people, so if you're a white supremacist, the show might not be for you. If that's the case, you'd probably touch grass. Also, the action is solid. good violence and gore, I guess. It's not like the most memorable thing. There are a few cool kills in there that are memorable, but it's not like every episode like, oh my god, I remember this cool thing. But it never disappoints. I actually didn't exactly realize how much the writing carries a show till sitting down to talk about this. The action's entertaining when it happens, but John Cena and the gang are so enjoyable to listen to that I never really wanted the banter to stop so someone could get shot again. I guess that means the show has good pacing. Violence good, writing good, talking good. I guess that's about all the good things I have to say about it, with some of the bad in there. Yeah, Peacemaker's goofy, it's funny, it has a by-the-numbers plot, but it never failed to keep me interested. I was always way into it. I watched it in its 8 episodes. I watched it of about 40 minutes, by the way, just so you know the time that you're investing. I watched it in 2 4-episode chunks. I was quite interested in it, but not as absorbed into it as something like, say, The Boys, which I watched the first season of in one sitting. But Peacemaker is, what did I just say, goofy, funny plot, and it has a grade A cast of likable characters, is what I'll end on, and you should watch it. I'd say it's an 8 out of 10, great show. You should watch Peacemaker.